The WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by the SGPN app. Get all of our free picks and podcasts in one convenient app. Download the SGPN app today. Yes, sir. We are back with a very special edition of the WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Know me, know the voice, and guys, me, really real, villain real, Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. Oh, we're so back. Oh, we are so freaking back. I cannot believe it. Another season in the W is in the works. I cannot wait to see what this brings up, how messy it will be, who will score points, who will disappoint. Scott Studio Reichel with me for another season. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, looking forward to another season. Should be fun. Of course, we have a couple of new teams, so we'll see how they end up looking in the first season. But we have more games. As a reminder, since we have more teams, we have more games. So looking forward to it. Should be fun. Still a 44-game schedule, but we all start with game one tomorrow and Saturday for some teams. So should be fun. 7 games we're going to talk about. So looking forward to it.
All right. Let's get into it. I mean, I'm ready to go. It's a lot has changed though. Brand new CBA. A whole bunch of things added. Housing. We already had the charters, but I think even that has had some type of upgrade as well. What else? We've got everybody getting paid a lot more money for a lot of players, and I don't think they didn't get the roster spot sizes, but they got the developmental contracts. So that's a nice, interesting piece. Teams are still doing what they always do, suspending overseas contracts. That's bringing in new players. Everything's going to look a little bit different in the start of the season, but this season, especially with 2 more teams added, I feel like this is the freshest the W has looked in a long time. A lot because there was a lot of movement around the league because everybody had their contract in when the CBA ended so that they would go in with new money. So a lot of parity in the league right now, Scott.
Yeah, fun time to be, invested in WNBA.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. We're about to get into it. But first, if you're not already subscribed to the NBA Gambling Podcast, the other show that me and Scott do over here, then you need to be. It's not just the WNBA Gambling Podcast. It's the NBA Gambling Podcast too. So make sure you are subscribed over there, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, doesn't matter. We're on all of that. All right. Well. Look at us. We are starting with the New York Liberty. New York Liberty at home, welcoming the Connecticut Sun into town. Last season of the Connecticut Sun. Many don't know that, Scott, but they're going to be Houston whatever. I think there's some type of battle over Comets right now. But
yeah, for the sake of convenience, I'll say Comets, but I'd say 50-50. It's going to be Comets.
Yep, seems like that. But they're Connecticut right now, still Connecticut Sun. And they're catching 11.5 points to start the season. Now, it's understandable seeing how, these 2 teams ended last season, why the Liberty would probably be laying 11.5 points. 161.5 is the total injury report. And I know this because the Liberty and all the teams in the league just spammed out an injury report 10 minutes ago. And so I'm still going through and verifying all of the names. But what I do know is that, of course, as of every season and how the season starts, Leonie Fibic's contract is suspended due to overseas commitment, with her still playing in another league. She will not be playing in this game. Satu Sabli was ruled out as well with an illness. She will not be playing in the game. And Aaliyah Edwards is out with a thigh injury to start the season, so she's not playing. I think that's all for this game, Scott. Still cross-checking some names with teams, but let's start there. No Leonie Fibic, but we already know we always start the season without her. And Satu's not starting, which, I mean, well, Satu's not playing. And
is Satu officially out, or she's questionable?
She's out. She's
okay.
Officially
She is out.
out.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
And Ionescu, of course, is
out. Is her name up on? I don't see her name on here.
Could have sworn I saw that she was going to be out for the first couple of weeks.
No, she just played in the last.
At least 2 weeks.
When was that? Is that after the last preseason game?
3 days ago. She had a foot injury. She's missing minimum 2 weeks.
Okay.
So that's confirmed. Ionescu's out.
Why is that not on?
I don't know, but I know for a fact that was definitely a thing, and that's confirmed. So Ionescu's not playing.
Okay, yeah, on the preseason finale in May 3rd. Okay, I had the wrong dates. Okay, yeah. You're right. All right, so I was making sure that I had that timeline correct. So it was preseason game, Ionescu injury. We get through all of this, no Satu. Then it's also no Fibic, but we knew that already. That it's happened. So down 3 to start the season, which is kind of really like down 1, which is Sabrina, because we already knew no Fibic. They start the season without her every year. They're used to this. And then Satu, we just haven't seen with the team, honestly.
Yeah, you also get a +1 though, because Lainey Hamilton missed the entire season, and of course she's going to be back in the lineup. So at least they're getting some pieces. But the Liberty are deep. It's why they had one of the highest win totals in the entire league. Connecticut's supposed to be a full-on bottom feeder at this point, so still a serious talent gap. Don't let the injuries fool you. Like, the Liberty are still the more talented team in this game. So we'll see how they look in game 1, but we know the crowd's going to be rocking. I mean, what else are they going to do? Root for the Nets in that building? I mean, the Liberty games are always packed, and it should be a very good home atmosphere for the opener. But you want to go first?
So Brittany Griner will probably have a game.
Probably.
We'll talk. If you haven't watched the preseason episodes and you're just now listening to, the actual game picks breakdown, Brittany Griner is on the Connecticut Sun now. So Brittany Griner, I think, is going to probably have a game. So that is one piece that I think that they're going to struggle with defensively. And we'll see how that matchup with her and Jonquel Jones goes. But I think that Brittany Griner is probably going to get, her share of 16 to 20 points in this one, just on the fact of the Liberty really do struggle with the post defense with bigs at time. Asia goes off against them, like if Collier will go off against them. Like, they do struggle with that, the really good post bigs that can go and make a move, and Brittany Griner can absolutely do that. That's the concerning piece. I think that Anissa Morrow's ability to grab rebounds is concerning if the Liberty still can't rebound in the game. But ultimately, I don't know if the consistent shot making is there overall on the team outside of Brittany Griner. That's my concern for Connecticut Sun right now. Who else outside of Griner is going to be scoring consistently?
And even Griner, we know, can be inconsistent in her own right. Like, she should have a solid game here, but we also have seen a couple of duds over the years. She's not the same player she used to be. Still solid, but once again, she's not the all WNBA player MVP candidate that we have seen in her prime. I think it's a safe way to sum up her career. She's been around for a long time. A lot of people think she joined Connecticut as kind of a farewell tour once they go back to Texas and they ended up moving to Houston. So we'll see how that goes. But I think she'll play pretty well in this game. But as you said, if she puts up, let's say, standard Griner 16-7, like a reasonable output for her, that's still 16 points. Like, you're probably going to need another 16 change to actually keep this game competitive. and I'm not sure they can get that. Now,
Mhm.
for the Liberty, you still have Stewie, you still have Jonquel, you still have even Johannes, who might play more minutes as a three-point shooter. They still have pieces. Like, it's not like the
I would
Liberty are totally screwed.
assume that we see some type of lineup of course, Stewie and Jonquel. But if so, Beck Allen and Benajelani Hamilton, they are not on the injury report. So I'm assuming that they will both be playing.
Yeah.
I think that they both will be seeing significant minutes in the game.
And I'm assuming
Um,
Johannes, I'll put a question mark around that, but potentially starting point guard with Ionescu being out.
Potentially, but it's not really like she'll bring the ball up some. It'll be
Yeah.
Stewie some. They'll run through John Quill at times. Rebecca Gardner probably have some, and it'll be by committee here, and that's what I'm expecting by committee. But I just I don't honestly feel great about that for the Liberty as well. But it's also just Connecticut. Like that's the thing. Like I don't feel great about. I would say under on the scoring. I just don't think either team is going to have the offensive output that they're going to want in this game. But I just think Connecticut's offensive output is going to be dog shit.
Yeah, I agree. We have a stat here from Dropping Dimes. You're saying last year the Liberty played games with Ionescu, played 38 with her, averaged about 167. Without her, game totals dropped to about 147. So keep that in mind. The 4 meetings
Dropping
last
dime.
year.
Hey, the chat is chatting early in the season, Scott.
Yeah, the 4 games against the Sun last year landed around 154. I agree with you. I think that even if we expect the Liberty to find a way to win, even without Ionescu, the offense should not be as, I'd say, potent as it will be once Ionescu comes back. Johannes can be very streaky as well. I don't think she's as good of a playmaker as Ionescu, but in general, any team is going to look, in my opinion, worse when you're missing your floor general. And Ionescu and Stewie kind of share that responsibility, but I do think the Liberty offensively will not be as dominant as they will be once she comes back. Not a hot take, Ionescu being a top 10 player in the league, basically. But I do think you're looking at the Sun offensively being a problem the entire season. It's why we both thought they'd win around 10 games the entire season. I mean, Griner is the flashy piece they acquired. Is the rest of the team good? No. They could use Mabry on this team, I'll tell you that much, because they don't really have much guard play that you're really impressed by. So I like the under in the game with you. I think that the Liberty could struggle offensively more than expected. I think the Sun offensively might not get past 65. Like there's a couple of ways to get there. So I like the under with you. The total, I mean, I think is easier than the side for me.
Absolutely.
I would probably go Liberty anyway, just being at home, but I don't really want to bet this. You might get a better number mid-game. So I'll go for the under instead, but I think it's Liberty or pass.
Yeah, I'll say Liberty or pass too. Under. Both agree on the under. We're both on the Liberty. You know what that means. First game, start the season.
Yeah, I'm not going to fully play it because we didn't fully lock in the side. It was more of like
no, I feel it's a short one.
You gotta play
you
the
don't get to play it out. You don't get to play it out for that one. It's all good. I understand. Next game up. Still in the 7:30 p.m. window on a Friday. Getting 2 games to start the season back to back. Like
new team.
Got to use that split screen on TV.
Yeah. Brand new team.
Washington Mystics are on the road. They have crossed enemy lines, Scott.
I don't know if I would call Canada enemy lines, but fair enough. They're in Canada, I guess.
Hey, don't tell that to the hockey team.
That's true.
Yeah, they crossed enemy lines. They are over there hanging out with Drake in Toronto with the Toronto Tempo. Tempo first game here at home. Me and Scott was talking about this last night. I was like, I don't know, Scott. I don't know if Toronto could be a favorite their first game. And they were laying 1.5. And Scott was like, I mean, they're in Toronto. And I was like, but I just don't know. I don't know if I can do that. And lo and behold, here we are. The Mystics are now a 1.5 point favorite here on the road. 160.5 is total. If you didn't know, Sandy Brondello, former New York Liberty coach, former Phoenix Mercury head coach, 2-time champion head coach, is now the head coach of the Toronto Tempo. She's assembled this team, brought over some familiar faces, ensemble.
I'll put it
over
this
there.
way. We're going to mention the Fire in a second, but the Tempo were a lot more active acquiring bigger name free agents than the Fire. I'll put it that way. So the Tempo didn't just go in here and say, year one's a wash. They at least tried to assemble an actual team that can maybe make the playoffs in year one. They're better than most expansion teams tend to be. Of course, the Valkyries set the bar very high. So do the Golden Knights in hockey. But usually a lot of the expansion teams are terrible off the rip. This year's team, make or miss the playoffs, should really not bottom out. They should be decent one way or another. Is that a fair way to describe this team?
I would think so. I had an epiphany earlier today, Scott, and I haven't gotten to talk to you about it yet. And my thought is, I understand where we have not given the Toronto. Well, at least you are I think you're slightly higher on them than I am. I think that they are better than expected, but like not making the playoffs and not really a threat. Probably still going to be like maybe under 500.
I think they'll be on the graphic. They'll be in the hunt graphic with like 3 games to go. That's kind of where I'm looking at.
I had an epiphany and I was thinking, oh man, like what if Toronto actually like really does suck?
Is that because of coaching or because of roster?
Or I mean, like honestly, both. Like what if it is honestly both? Like I was sitting there, I'm like, okay, I do like that they went and they got somebody like a Marina Mabry to be able to take a bunch of shots. But then I was like, wait, Marina Mabry's been on some really bad teams, man. Like she's been the leader of some really bad squads that just were not good. And so I was like, oh man, we've been talking like Toronto is like, oh, they're gonna be decent, they're not gonna be horrible. Like, it's kind of this middle ground that I've kind of been playing with Toronto. But I was like, oh, what if they actually really do suck though?
Well, the front court's the main problem. So you can argue this is a bad matchup for them because the Mystics are kind of the opposite, where they just have a lot of size and the Tempo really have no size. So that's kind of the issue you run into. But I don't also mind Sykes on the team. I mean, Sykes and Mabe are going to take a lot of shots. You could argue that neither one of them is a true point guard, which could be a bit of a problem because they both just want to shoot the ball. So I can understand some reservations people might have with this team. I think there is a path where they could actually be like a 500 team. But you could also argue the Mystics.
So, yeah.
The Mystics, though, of course, they have a lot of size. Of course, they got Shakira back. They still have Kiki, who we like. Not to mention they got Citron at the guard spot, who we think is going to be very good in this league. So you could argue it is a bad matchup. But I also do. I think that a big reason why I was pretty high on this team compared to most people is just factoring in the travel spot with the uniqueness of traveling to a different state, a different country. I mean, to actually play games. I think it's a very unique home court advantage that they have in year one that no other team has in the league. So that's kind of why I think the Tempo at home could be dangerous. They might not be great on the road because they can't rebound the ball. But I do think for the sake of home games, they might sneak up on some teams and win some games. I mean, you were low on the Mystics too. So yes, they have Betts now. Yes, they have Kiki. Yes, they also have, of course, Sykes. But you could argue that this team is still immature. They still might not have the greatest infrastructure, and maybe they'll end up struggling in a road environment. But I think the home advantage should be better than people think for season one. That's my pushback on that. But yes, this team does have a flawed roster in terms of lack of front court depth.
I hear all of that, Scott. I really do. And I think that, that may do something for them. Maybe they're retaining you back at home and they're not good on the road. Maybe. But I'm going to be more pessimistic than optimistic here. And I think that's going to be my official, stance on Toronto of, if I think that they're around 500, I think they're probably going to be closer to under the 500 than above it.
Yeah,
and so I am very much concerned about the front court. But I like it. It's a bad. How many times does Marina Mabry go out there and shoot like some 4 for 20, or how many times will Brittany Sykes just go out there and then just be like a dud? Like it's just I don't think it all comes together. immediately. I don't think it all comes together immediately. I am on the Mystics laying 1.5. I think that they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, knowing how like completely terrible they ended the season last year. And this is the thing that makes them feel good before they go into and we start sucking against, actual real teams that have been playing basketball for more than a few months. So I don't think the Mystics are going to be a good team when it's all said and done, but I think they're going to be good enough. And the Mystics do be showing up early in the season and getting wins, even though they might not be as good overall. I'm on the Mystics laying the 1.5 here.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to disagree, but it makes sense based on how we've been talking about these teams. The Mystics, we both think are not going to be that good. So even if Toronto is hovering 500 but still under, that puts them basically in the same spot as the Mystics. So you could argue these teams are relatively even. I mean, the problem is pretty simple, though. With Shakira, with, of course, Kiki, and with Betts, I mean, they might dominate the boards by like 15 in this game. Now, I do want to point out that the Mystics fell off a cliff to end last year. They were 12 games under. They were 10 under on the road. Like, they were a horrible road team last year at 6-16. So
this is the chip on their shoulder. This is the chip.
Yes. On the other hand, I could also make the argument that they might just be a good home team and a bad road team like last year, and in Canada they might struggle. So I'll go for Toronto. This is probably a game I'm going to have no action on, just based on the uncertainty surrounding Toronto.
Yeah, problems.
But I'm going to keep an eye on it. Like, I think the crowd, especially for the franchise opener, is going to be packed, and I do think it's a good spot for Toronto. Long term, I think you're right. I think this team will have problems long term. That's why I think Sandy to win Coach of the Year makes sense if they find a way to actually make it into the playoffs. But for game one, with the Mystics being 6-16 on the road last year, I think Toronto's got some value. But basically a pick 'em. I agree with that. I'm not going to bet it, but I'll go Toronto at home.
I know I didn't talk about props in the Liberty and the Sun game. I'm sorry for that.
Rebounds on everybody for the Mystics. Rebounds on everybody.
Points. I don't think they're going to be able to. Who's slowing down Shakira Austin? Who's slowing down Kiki Iriafen if she starts going and attacking the rim this season and like being really, really aggressive? Like, who is slowing them down scoring? I have no idea. I think points, rebounds, everything. I like the bigs on the Mystic side of ball against tempo.
I think one good prop that's going to cash in a decent amount of games for Toronto is actually going to be on Sykes. I'm a fan of Sykes's RA or even PRA. They need her to do everything on this team. I know that her rebounding has not been great in the past, but she was also on, I'd say, better rosters.
I'm pretty sure. What was it? She just eclipsed like some rebounding milestone in one of the games I went to because she was talking about it after the game, and I was like, "Oh wow, really?" She's actually a really good rebounding guard. So like, I
think she's a good rebounding guard, but for her role last year, mostly coming off the bench a little bit when she was on Seattle, it was kind of up and down what her role was going to be. This number's a 3.5. She did go under this number in 64% of games last year. But I think the ball's going to be in her hands a lot. I know Mabry can also facilitate, but we know that she really wants to shoot. But you can go for the Sykes RA. It's mostly on prediction markets right now, so it's not actually on sports books, but it's at 6.5 for rebounds and assists. Isn't the ball going to be in her hands like the entire time for Sykes? I think she's more of a point guard than Mabry is, so I don't mind Sykes RA at 6.5 when it gets added to sports books. But assuming the line stays consistent with like Underdog by comparison, I think 6.5 is not that bad. So I don't mind Sykes over RA. I think that's going to do pretty well. Assuming the front court's as bad as we think it's going to be on the glass, Sykes probably helps out on that. So I don't mind Sykes RA for their games.
Kiki's rebounds are at 8.5 minus 135, or you can go to 10 for plus 117, whatever tickles your fancy, but you probably want to get down on Kiki's rebounds.
I would go for double-double instead of that. I think that's a better option.
Double-doubles plus 140.
Yeah.
Plus 140 for
compared to 117, you're assuming with the offensive rebounds, et cetera, she probably gets to 10 points. So 140 would be the play I would use instead. So we can revisit that later for Underdog, but I think that she's going to have a solid game as well. But I feel like if you're picking Toronto's front court to be the serious Achilles heel to this team, which we are, then I would just keep going double-doubles. So, and we like Kiki.
Yeah.
Kiki's very good.
I don't know if not. Yeah, I just don't know if Nyara and teammate Fibile are going to get it done.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. Could be wrong. I know teammate was a little bit of a weak spot for that Valkyries team. All right. Ooh, speaking of Valkyries, we'll talk about them next. But first, gotta talk to the people about Bronco. Sportsbook and casino, you need to lock in with them. They have a whole bunch of ways to get into the action because they offer all the major sports and over 100,000 sports markets they have a month. Go check out Bronco. Available in a ton of states. Plus, Wednesdays are for blackjack. Blackjack on Wednesdays, and you get 50% of your losses back. Deposit and withdrawing is very easy. Bank, Apple Pay, even cryptocurrency. So get over there with Bronco and get a free $5 plus a purchase match up to $100 at Bronco using promo code SGPN. That is Bronco, BRACCO, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Kalshi, real money prediction market, legal in a ton of states. Kalshi has a whole bunch of trading options. Go check them out in the WNBA. Go check them out in the NBA, WNBA, and MLB as well. Also, new Kalshi customers get $10 when you use that promo code SGPN. That is Kalshi, KALSHI, promo code SGPN. All right. My Valkyries start the season on the road. They're in Seattle, playing the Seattle Storm. Didn't have a super far road trip. Just in Seattle. Valkyries laying 5.5. 157.5 is the total. I actually think I saw an injury news in this game.
Well, hang on a second, by the way, because it is a new season. So we technically do have to play the drop because they're not totally terrible this season. So I'm going to play the drop real quick. Is it going or not?
Yeah, you're playing the raindrops. This is the showers drop.
Yeah. No, I know. We think they're going to be bad.
Oh, I thought you were playing the storm drop.
No, I was playing the drop because we think they're going to be a terrible team.
Yeah, no. That was nice little rain, little majestic rain. Nothing scary. Just a nice little shower.
I'll do it reverse this year. Until they prove to us they're actually decent, we're playing the droplets. But if they start winning some games, then we upgrade them to the actual storm. I think that's the fair way to go about it because this team on paper is supposed to be really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go reverse this time around.
All right. Our Fab's contract was suspended for overseas commitment. She starts the season not with the team. Yeah, good luck, Seattle. You got to prove it to me that you're a good team. I'm all right and perfectly fine fading the Seattle Storm. So otherwise, they've now this is literally, we've seen this version of the Storm where they're just bottom out, completely sucked when there's no Breonna Stewart, no Jewel Lloyd. And then they went and they got rid of that team and they bring in and they got Skylar Diggins and they got Nneka Ogwumike. And now they're not here. And so when they just start and it's like Ezzy is the best player on the floor, you're not. Maybe that's good for some overseas team, but in W right now, that's not winning games. No disrespect, Ezzy. I like Ezzy is a phenomenal player, but Ezzy is not leading no team in the W as the best player on the floor. And I'm not gonna lie to you. You look at this roster; she's the best person on the floor right now. Just miss me on Seattle being any type of relevant right now. I honestly think I haven't been crapping on Seattle enough in the pregame, not pregame, but the preseason podcast that we have been doing. But I really do think that Seattle's going to suck. And I just think that it's kind of wild that the Valkyrie are only laying 5.5 here when the Valkyrie are a legit good team.
Yeah, I agree with you. The real way Seattle can unlock something, and I know that she's favored to win Most Improved Player, but they need Malanga to be an all-star to have any chance at being even remotely decent this season. They lost almost all of their team last year. I mentioned Sykes in the last game. You can go through their starting lineup. They are missing basically 4 starters from last year's team. They pulled the plug. They basically just started again from, I don't want to say ground zero, but maybe ground one. because at least you have Malanga and you have a couple of pieces, but they basically lost everybody from last year. And they weren't very good to begin with. I know they almost ended up beating, of course, the Aces in the first round. Diggins isn't there anymore. They're missing a bunch of people that were basically, like 90% of the production from last year? It feels like it. So they're kind of building from scratch again. Malanga might end up being the saving grace of this team, but they're still not good. Like, this team is going to be a mess for the most part. And I see in the comment section, Helms is saying the Storm guards are pretty rough. Yeah, that's what happens when you lose all your guards from a playoff team last year. They didn't really do much to replace it. Seattle was not active in the free agency market to find Mabry's or Sykes's to bring back. They weren't really willing to invest in even salvaging their backcourt. So based on that, I think Burton should have a solid game. I like the Valkyries' depth by comparison. Once again, Malanga could be a matchup problem because we don't know what her ceiling is going to be, but she's still young into her career. I don't see her putting it all together at this point in her career. I'm on the Valkyries with you, not to mention the fact that Nakase is already a top, 3 coach in the league? Top 4 coach in the league at this point? Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
So based on that, coaching edge, roster edge, depth edge, I'm going to go with the Valkyries here. And the line's pretty short. I think Seattle, I think the home court's being overrated in the spot because this team is going to be bad. And I think that Seattle maybe shows up for game 1, maybe not. But I think the fans know, though, like, this team's a mess on paper. I'll go Valkyries -5.5 with you because at least we know they're consistent, they're efficient, they play great defense. That's the issue. They buy in defensively, and I'm not sure how Seattle's actually going to score throughout 4 quarters of this game. They might have 1 quarter with 12 points. That wouldn't shock me. Like, one disgusting quarter that sabotages the game for them. I'm on the Valkyries with you. I also don't mind the under because I just don't see the Storm score many points.
I mean, come on, the Valkyries are legit, really good defense.
Yeah.
They're a defensive first team. That's why Gabby Williams fits so well, because they're defensive first team. So good luck scoring. I think the only way they do score is through Dom Malanga and Ezzy, because just the sheer size being overpowering overall. I mean, tallest person on the team is Ileana Rupert at 6'4". So yeah, good luck on selling me on the Seattle team at all. I haven't been shitting on Seattle enough. I really do think Seattle's going to be bad. I do like players on Seattle. I just don't think they're going to put it all together. And the fact that the rest of the league is just so much better. And this, honestly, 5.5, I think, is disrespectful to the Valkyries. This should be closer to 10. Valkyries laying 5.5. Probably might be talking about that again at the end of the show. I agree with you on the under. Might be talking about that again on the end of the show. I don't have an official team total for Seattle, but whatever that is, take the under on that. And then, Dom Malanga is going to score, take her points. Gabby Williams is going to score, take her points. Gabby's probably going to do a little bit of everything. So PRA is probably a good thing for Gabby Williams. But that's about all my thoughts on this game.
Would you describe Cook as a shoot first guard?
I
would say yes, but
score first. I would say score first.
That's kind of my point. When you throw her
being driving to the basket line, but score first, yeah.
Yeah, I mean looking for her own shot first.
Yeah, yes.
Because you have her and Heidemann together, which sounds like a disastrous starting backcourt because neither one wants to pass the ball. So I doubt that's what they actually. I doubt that's what it is too, according to the projected starting lineup. That's what they got going right now.
I highly doubt that's what it is.
The point is, we're talking about Ezzy and Matt, and we're talking about once again some options they have in the front court. But I'm not sure they actually have the guards that are capable of being a floor general that can get everybody involved. My concern is that Cook and Heidemann, if they are either overlapping or playing separately, they're just going to be constantly in score first mode. I just don't think they'll be able to get their teammates fully involved enough to really frustrate an elite defense like the Valkyries. So I'm with you, but I think that the backcourt, I'd say lack of playmaking is going to be a serious problem for them all season, which is why I think game 1 is going to be a disaster. So I'm with you on the Valkyries, but it's kind of to hammer on the point. I'm not sure that the guards are good enough to actually get Ezzy and company easy looks at the basket.
Oh well, that's no concern of mine. I mean, the guards will be as good as Flajay Johnson is. Like if Flajay Johnson can go in there into the league and be very very efficient in not only looking for his shots but setting up for others, then I think that they'll be pretty decent there. I just think the overall roster and makeup of the team is bad.
Yeah.
I just don't think I don't like the team overall. I think the team looks horrible. They have different. I like Flajay Johnson. I think she's gonna look good. Am I going and running to bet her rookie props right now? No, but I want to see how she ends up adjusting, and she will probably be making a lot of the player props when we talk about Seattle this season. Same for Don Malonga. I I just don't think that all of this is going to end in a cohesive enough unit to win a lot of games, and those are my concerns. So is overall Heidemann, Cook, and how they're looking. I don't think that's going to matter. I honestly don't think that's going to matter. I think that they just the overall team. When I look at it, roster top down, I'm like, you are not up to par for what I think a WNBA team needs to have. Let alone the Valkyries, who I think are a playoff team. So like, oh, this is just a disrespectful line.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. See, I don't think people realize how bad the Storm are going to be, and I hope that I'm right. All right, that's Friday. Let's talk about Saturday. But before we talk about Saturday, we got to talk to the people about Underdog. We'll drop an Underdog lineup at the end of the show. We'll get through a couple more games, get through some more props, talk about them at the end of the show. But just know that you pick higher or lower your favorite player fantasy stats, and you could win cash. 2 pick entries pay 3.5x. 3 pick entries pay 6.5x. Make sure you go check out Underdog. Again, Underdog Fantasies, brand new offer. 4 new customers play just $5. Get $50 in bonus funds when you use that sign-up code NBA SGPN. Again, NBA SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, official data tool for dominating the WNBA, MLB, NBA, and golf. Their models have been great, and they can help you cash in, or you can build your own models and go see how much you can accumulate for yourself with the power of data. 7-day free trial over there at Rhythm. And last season in the WNBA, they tracked 359 bets for a 58% win percentage, resulting in over $2,000 worth of profits. Go check out Rhythm right now. Promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. That's download Rhythm and use promo code SGPN25. All right. Saturday. Oh, we're starting the season like this on a Saturday. 1 p.m. Indiana. Welcoming Dallas Wings. Indiana Fever welcoming the Dallas Wings. Fever laying 7. 176 is the total in that game. Well, this could change because as the WNBA just spammed out that injury report for these games that happened on Friday, there could be some different injury news that spam out over the course of things for Saturday, maybe a little later tonight, maybe tomorrow. So could be subject to a little bit of change. We're going to go very, very broad here. All right. Well, we calling Dallas's spade right now. How good of a team are you?
We think not very good, but they should still be right now projected around a little bit over 500. I mean, we're beneath that, but I don't think they're going to be as bad as the Storm, for example. Like there are teams definitely worse than them, but we think defensively they're going to be a bunch of traffic cones. Is that a fair way to describe this team?
I don't think they're going to be a bunch of traffic cones this year, but I don't think that it's going to be anything light years better. Like, I don't think that Jessica Shepard and Alana Smith just make them this defensive juggernaut. Like, they will definitely play better defense than anything that they've had over the past few years. Alicia Clark as well. I think that they'll play better defense than anything they've had over the past few years. But is it just going to be like this world beater stopper? No, I don't think so. Maybe we go from, what was it, like some 84 points per per game or something like that. Maybe even worse than that. So maybe it's like now it's just 80.
Yeah.
Maybe, we dip into the 70s a little bit. But like it's not going to be like anything absurdly crazy. No. And then with the fact of the pace that we know the Fever are going to be trying to run in this game, Dallas is probably going to just match that pace in their own right. The points could still accumulate here in this game for sure.
That's kind of why I was bringing it up, because last year we know they were terrible defensively. They also packed it in. I mean, the team was a mess from start to finish. This year, they're projected to actually be a playoff team. We don't see it that way, but that is their projection right now. I still think this team can score a bunch. I mean, you got the Paige versus Caitlin matchup, which everyone's hoping to see, which should be a lot of fun. But I still think the Fever might have a chance at pushing 100 in this game. I'm not saying they're going to get there, but if the pace goes the way we think it's going to go, this could definitely turn into like a 100 to 90 type game. Like this could go off the rails if the defense, as you're saying, maybe doesn't gel immediately. If the Wings play fast and they're still all over the place defensively, especially on the perimeter, because I don't think their guards are that great defensively, we can see Caitlin put up potentially like a 15 assist game. Like there's a chance that she puts on an absolute show in the home opener and Caitlin finishes the game with even like 30 and 12. It's possible. I'm not going to write that off. On the other hand, you might see Paige and once again, really just the entire Dallas team put together like 80, as you said. So I still like the over in this game. It's a high total. I get it's insane total for a season opener, but we think it's going to be fast. We think it's going to be full of really impressive stat lines. And we question Dallas's defense. Should be better than last year, but still not a formidable unit. I'll use that word. And is Indiana a good defensive team? Not really, because they want to play fast. So I just see a bunch of players dropping 20 points, and I see a bunch of points in general. So I like the over in the game. As square as that sounds. I like the over more than the under. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk you against it. I think points are going to be everything you said. I think all of that's valid. Over. I'm on Indiana. Dallas, I have to show it and prove it to me. Paige has had a good game pretty much every time she's played Indiana, and it hasn't amounted to anything.
Yeah.
They lost every game. Best margin was 8.
They need her and Reichel to both combine for, would you argue, like 55 to have a chance in this game? 60?
I mean, I think that they'll get their fair share of scoring from like all their other pieces. Yeah. Like I think the offense is good. I just don't think that they're just good enough. I just don't think they're good enough. And like they were getting their butt kicked by Indiana all last season, like without Caitlin Clark in some of those. But Caitlin Clark did come back for like one of those games. So
didn't she have like 20 assists in one of those games or something crazy?
I don't know. I remember that part.
I'm going to look it up, but I'm pretty sure one of those games was like a 200-point game.
She did go out and like have like good games against. So I think that the Stars put on a show. Indiana has Caitlin Clark. They also have Kelsey Mitchell. They also have Aaliyah Boston, and that's just too much. So I like Indiana. Lay the number. And if Indiana misses, then I can come back and say, "Oh man, I should have never laid that with Indiana. I'm never doing that again." But like, I'm pretty sure that they're significantly better than this Dallas Wings team.
By the way,
right now,
I looked it up. It was not last year because Caitlin was injured for most of the season. It was 2 years ago. She set the WNBA single game record for assists against Dallas.
Oh yeah.
To read off the stats that she's had
I was about to
against
say,
Dallas.
I felt like that was last year.
Yeah, because she barely played last year. She had 14 and 13 in the only meeting last year. 35 and 8, 28 and 12, 24 and 19. So once again, Caitlin might walk into like 25 and 12. I will be on Caitlin assists in some capacity for this game. Once again, she's averaging in her career. Yes, Dallas might be a little bit better defensively. She's averaging 25 and 13 against Dallas in her career. That's what she's averaging, 25 and 13. So just give me some Caitlin assist props as well.
All right. So you're on
Fever.
Okay.
I think they push towards 100. So right. I think we got to track me, and I think that Caitlin puts on like 25 and 15 potentially in this game. At home, yeah, I think that they put on a show.
Okay. Glad we're in agreement there. Let's see. Caitlin Clark's assists are at 8.5.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna save that for later. That's gonna be an alt line. That I think you can. Yeah, I think you can take that up by a decent amount, because if we think that the Fever are going to end up dropping 90 in this game, she's probably going for at least 12 assists. So sign me up.
In defense, it is minus 130.
Yeah,
but that is technically 8.5.
Oh no! Once again, I'm gonna alt that. So I want to see what line I could actually get, but I get why it's at 8.5, because last year, once again, she was kind of going back and forth between 10 assists and like 7. But you can get this at 10.5 at plus 200. Sure, that's a pretty realistic number. Yeah, Caitlin alt assists. I think she's gonna potentially ride the ladder for this one. Climb the ladder, whatever.
I agree as well with the alt assists, by the way. Kelsey Mitchell over 19.5 points. Everybody thought that Caitlin Clark coming back, Kelsey Mitchell slowing down. Only concern for Kelsey Mitchell is that, it's just like she's got to work herself into game shape and, not as efficient. But like Kelsey Mitchell, I'm pretty sure is scoring very well. What else do I like here? Aaliyah Boston. I would play Aaliyah Boston.
You said all the stars, so that checks out.
Points and rebounds. 23.5.
Yeah.
I like that. If you are a degenerate and you are shifting through the interwebs and finding lines in weird places that I just don't care to do the work for, and you find a line on Raven Johnson assists, play them. It's probably going to be something low and absurdly low with the fact that she's a rookie. She's just starting. I'm almost positive she's the backup point guard. And so in that offense, she should have at least 5. And her line is probably going to be something like a 1.5, 2.5, something like that. So if that pops up in your deep dart search of degeneracy, that's what I would say. But cool. I can't do that because I'm not putting through the effort to go through all those channels to find a bet. Yeah. I'll just wait until it's mainstream and, start betting it then. But, it's people that enjoy doing stuff like that, Scott. I bet you it's somebody that's going to be in the comments like, yo, I did it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's about it for me here, Scott. Next up. Las Vegas Aces. It's ring day, technically, but ring night, but it's really ring day because this is literally a middle of the day game in Vegas. Las Vegas Aces are welcoming the Phoenix Mercury. Rematch of the WNBA Finals that if you blink, you might have missed it.
It was the first ever 4-7 series, but we missed the last 3 games because it was over pretty quickly. It was 4-0. So, yeah,
the first ever 4-0 sweep in WNBA history.
Yes, it was.
Hey, congratulations! Aces are laying 7.5. 166.5 is total. Again. Now, watch this be one of the games that the injury report is kind of very wonky. And that's going to be something that probably ends up changing minds. But as of what I can think right now, for one, what I will say is that they were competitive in a couple of those games.
Yeah. Well, Saab 2 was having herself a series, and then she got the concussion, and it was basically over at that point. But, yeah, they were in a couple of games. It just didn't go their way. But the Saab 2 injury killed any hope they had.
So, of course, we all know my thoughts on the Aces and what they're going to do this season. And this could be, the start of the Aces just going belt to ass to a lot of teams.
Yeah.
But the angle that I am thinking of that I feel like happens a lot with Becky Hammond and this team, and it's the thing that made me so frustrated about the Aces earlier last season, and that was the defense. And that there was multiple times very early in the season that the defense was just really, really bad. Like it was just they weren't getting any stop. It was Asia, and that was it. Asia was playing defense, and that's it. Like nobody else. The defense is horrible overall. And so that's my concern for the Aces. That's my concern for laying 7.5 on ring night. Even though it's the ring night atmosphere and it's the Aces and it's at home, they can get that atmosphere in a close game. And then it's like, some kind of, was it last season? I feel like it was last season. Maybe I think it was last season where they started the season in a dog fight with the Mystics. And it was like Jewel Lloyd hit some crazy three, and they win the game, and everybody in Vegas is going crazy, and it sounds like a crazy lit game. But then you think that was the Mystics.
Yeah,
I feel like that was either last season before, something like
that. That was last year.
Yeah. So like, that's what I'm concerned for Vegas in this, is that they start the season on some type of time like that. And that's why I'm like, okay, so the Mercury plus 7.5 looks interesting here. I really think I'm going to like the over 166.5 for the total, just because I get into this thing and I see Vegas in the beginning of the season. The defense is horrible. And they also are very great offensively, and they're going to put up a bunch of points. And so like the games are just higher scoring. So with all that being said, I guess that kind of leans to where I'm at. Give me the Mercury plus the points on the Vegas ring night. I don't know if they get the win. I think it's a really close game though.
Yeah, in general, I don't mind fading teams on ring night, but at the same point, of course, I said before, Satu got injured in the playoffs last year in the finals. She's not on the team anymore, so we'll see if the Mercury can recreate the production they need to keep up with the Aces, who might have the best offense in the entire league, arguably ever in the league. But I think I'm going to go with the Aces in this game. It's really weird to evaluate the Aces season last year. You basically need two halves. You have the before Valkyries 30-point blowout and the after Valkyries 30-point blowout. Because you can look at the Aces having a lot of underwhelming, even home results last year, but a lot of them were front-loaded, where they were just really bad. They were a 500 team, and everyone thought, what's going on with this team? And they barely lost for the last 5 months of the season. Yep. And I feel like the Valkyries 30-point blowout was the official moment, the come-to-Jesus moment, basically, where the whole team realized, like, I don't know what we're doing, but this is not us.
21-3.
Yeah, they went 21-3 to finish the season. And once again, they ended up sweeping in the WNBA Finals. So, yes, they've had a couple of underwhelming showings at home. You mentioned the Jewel Lloyd game winner against the Mystics. I believe that was early in the season. I think afterwards, they kind of, once again, figured it out, and they dominated a lot of matchups. So, I think the Aces actually hit the ground running in this game, but it might be a little bit of an adjustment for the Mercury, because Satu was a big piece for that team. She led the team in scoring in points per game.
Lexi Held is no longer there as well.
That's what I'm saying. So I think the Mercury will be fine long-term. We like their over for the wins, but in game one, I think it's a bad matchup anyway. And without Satu, I just question if they have the scoring depth initially right off the jump to match up with Asia and with Chelsea, and with all the weapons they have on that team, Jackie, of course. I think you're looking at the Mercury getting off to a rough start to the season, because they just don't have enough horses right now to match up offensively with the Aces in game one. Maybe at like game 25, but game one, I think the Aces at home take care of business. I kind of tossed out the entire first half from last year because the Aces woke up and went 21-3 to end the season. I'm picking Mad Aces to show up in this game. So I'll go for the Aces minus 7.5.
All right. I see it. Just two different lanes of thought here.
Yeah.
I think it's a whole bunch of points scored. I do. So you still got AT on the other side. You still got Kalia Copper as well on the other side. I think that they're going to have their contribution. Of course, I believe the Aces and Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, Asia Wilson, Jill Lloyd, everybody's going to do their part of the scoring. Over.
I'm with you on the over. I think the Mercury's defense could be problematic early on, but the Aces also offensively can score 90 in any given game, and nobody would be surprised at all. So I think it's an over as well.
All right. Player props. Asia Wilson's at 24.5.
Anything below 25, I'll just give me the Asia points.
Over, of course. That's even money too, by the way, Scott. Just so you know. Throwing it out there.
I see Luis mentioning Whitcomb threes, which I don't mind. I mean, somebody on the Mercury have to score. We know that AT is a pass-first superstar.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to keep this game somewhat respectable, they need to get hot from three. I think Whitcomb does make sense from three.
Nice. I don't see that, but nice. Chelsea Gray over 5.5 assists. I'm just going to just go ahead and get that going. And I remember when Asia said, hey, yo, there's no reason I should be averaging more assists than you.
She wasn't wrong.
Hit her right there. Hit her right there.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't wrong, by the way. All right. And Cleo Copper actually probably does continue to keep her scoring. 18.5 probably is too short. She probably does 20 with just the fact of sheer volume.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Scott?
Not really. I mean, you can kind of pick whichever player you want to go for the Aces, but I didn't mind a Jackie points, but you can make arguments.
Oh. 80 assists. All right. 8.5. That is super juiced at minus 140, though. 10.5 is plus 112. I would just go ahead and go to 10.
Okay.
Go ahead and get the 80 average and triple double for the season started.
MVP
early.
Candidate.
Yeah,
knock on wood.
All right. Atlanta Dream are on the road playing the Minnesota Lynx. Dream are laying 3.5. 157.5 is the total. So we know no Nafisa Collier. Kayla McBride is playing basketball. Dorky Uhas is out to start the season.
And no Bree Jones.
And no Bree Jones for the foreseeable future as well for the Atlanta Dream. Yeah, I think they kick things off really quick. Like things are going to pick off and on a roll for the Atlanta Dream.
It's a low number when the other team's missing their best player, but we did see the Lynx last year play well without Nafisa. But
yep.
I'll put it this way: it's dream or pass for me. I will probably not have action on this game.
Really?
I probably won't. Minnesota does have a great home court environment, and I do like their overall depth on the team. The Dream, of course, are the better roster right now because you got Angel Reese, you still have Gray, you still have a lot of really solid players on your team. Ryan Howard is healthy. Hopefully it stays that way, but Ryan Howard is healthy. I would go Dream if I had to pick a side here, but I really don't like to fade Minnesota in Minnesota. Maybe it's just me, but I think I'll stay away. I want to see if the Dream get off to a great start or if maybe it takes a couple of games. We tend to see some of these great teams that get assembled, but they still kind of stumble out of the gate. They work out some chemistry issues. So I think I'll stay away from game one. But long term, I'm with you on the Dream. I think this team's going to be very good. But I am probably not going to have action in this matchup.
Let me see if I can sway you.
Okay.
Because I understand the question marks of how the Dream are going to start the season. However, I want to remind you how they ended the season. And how did they end the season? It was a heartbreaking Game 3 game in the first round of the playoffs against the Indiana Fever with no Caitlin Clark.
I still can't believe they lost that series.
And
in hindsight, it prompted them to trade for Angel Reese. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, good for them. They got aggressive during the offseason.
Yes. But that is how they lost. It was losing that series like how they did as the game they were playing. That was a great game 3. Like it was a very close game, and they were Atlanta was hunting and trying to get back into it, and they couldn't get there.
I don't think they scored in the last 3 minutes of the game, but either way, it was an embarrassing showing on their home floor. But it was a great game,
and it was more about how well Indiana played.
Yeah,
I felt like. Dog, they're about to come out the gates like seeing blood in the eyes. It doesn't matter who was in front of them. It just so happens that it's a Lynx. It could have been anything. I think blood was going to be in their eyes. And now you're telling me Angel Reese with the chip that's already massive on her shoulder? Oh, I don't know, man. I think that they're going to go in here and they are going to attack the Atlanta Dream, the Minnesota Lynx. They're going to challenge them on the inside because now you have no Collier, no Jessica Shepard, no Alana Smith, no Dorka Juhas, really like no Bridget Carlton. Who is guarding the inside of the paint for them right now? I understand they want to shoot a bunch of threes, but like the inside of the paint is going to be wide open and nobody is getting Angel Reese off of the glass.
No, losing Alana also defensively is going to be a big deal for Minnesota, especially just to start the season. So I agree with you there, but once again, I want to see how Angel fits with this team before I start taking them on the road against Minnesota. Maybe I'm just, built into trusting Cheryl to come up with a good game plan at home, but I'm still probably not going to have action. But if the Dream win, I wouldn't be surprised. I would pick them. But I kind of want to see Angel with this core first before I bet them on the road in a very hostile environment for me.
So do you like Dream or do you like Mystics?
It would be Dream or pass.
I mean, not Mystics, Lynx.
It would be Dream or pass for me. I like the under in the game. I think the Dream should be a very good defensive team. Okay. The Lynx have a good defensive identity. I think the under is how I would go about it, but I'm probably going to stay away and watch the game. I can learn a lot from both teams through this game. So I'm going to use it as more of a scouting type of event for me.
Well, I don't think that Nia Coffey and Natasha Howard are getting it done defensively. So I am on the Dream. I will probably be betting Dream laying 3.5. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty sure that I'm almost positive the Dream are just a completely better team at this moment in time. Not overall, but just as of right now, they are a very much better team than Minnesota. 157.5 is total. I would only look team total under for the Minnesota Lynx. Mm-hmm. I don't think I would play the full game. And because I'm just not sure what the offensive output for the Dream. They could have like some crazy offensive output, or it could just be going and just go under. But like I would definitely play whatever team total under is for the Minnesota Lynx. That's the number I would play for the total.
Yeah, I can get behind that too. But I think it's under or pass for me. But once again, I'm probably not going to have any action.
All right. And I mean, what's the line? What's the line?
For what, Angel rebounds?
It's 12.5 at plus 105. I think she's soaring to 13, by the way. I think she'll have 10 at half.
I see 11.5 at minus 140, but once again, that is pretty juicy. So 12.5, yeah, that's about plus 105.
I understand somebody thinking 20 and 12.5 sounds crazy, but like, I don't think it's when Angel is at prop is at 14.5. That's when she starts like, all right, bro, she has like a 13 rebound game. Like, you're not mad at that. Or like, but 12.5 is not insane for Angel's rebounds. Like, I like 12.5 over 12.5 rebounds at plus money.
I don't mind it, but once again, I have more interest in other games. This is a game I'm going to watch. I think it's just a very good game. So I'll use it to learn about both teams.
I also would play the threes on Ryan Howard for sure at 2 at minus 130. At 2.5 at minus 130, I would definitely play that. Her threes should always be at 3.5. She's going to shoot 10 of them. 10 of them hit 3. Like Alicia Gray, 3 threes is at plus 173. It's okay too. I would probably take both. I'm pretty sure they're just going to start chucking threes because they know Angel's down there somewhere. I'm almost positive that's how this team is going to play. I probably didn't load up on enough injury price, but we'll just start with the rebounds for the start of the season. I know for sure she's going to rebound in basketball. Maybe she doesn't have any impact with the assists. Maybe they actually don't even lean on her for points at all either. But for sure, she's rebounding the basketball. I don't like anything on the Minnesota side.
So I have nothing. Once again,
I'm getting out my thoughts.
No, I know. I'm saying you don't have anything for Minnesota. I'm saying I don't have anything for anybody. So
yep.
I have nothing else to add. The last game should not take long at all for a spoiler. So we can get into it now if you want to.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Chicago Sky are on the road playing the Portland Fire in their first home game at home in Portland as the Fire, a WNBA team. Sky are laying 4.5 on the road. 160.5 is total. This surely will be a game with a bunch of news on the injury report too when it pops up. Yeah, I think did y'all hear how bad I was talking about Seattle? I'm pretty sure Portland's going to be somewhere around there too.
To read off the projected starting lineup, by the way, keyword projected. Carlton, you have Giselsoder.
I don't think Carlton's healthy.
I'm just reading it off. That's what I have according to the projected, so we'll see if anything changes. But Haley Jones, you have Carla, and you have Sutton. So once again, this whole team should be terrible. Lowest win total, I believe, it's now 9.5. So they're projected to be basically just an absolute doormat for the entire league at this point. And Chicago, you know what? They're supposed to be pretty good. I mean, we like them to make the playoffs. I said it wasn't going to take that long. I'm on Chicago. I think 4.5 is insanely low. Chicago might win like 22 games. They might be an above 500 team. Portland might win 6 games the entire season. I get they're at home. I don't really care. This team's awful on paper. So I'm on Chicago minus 4.5.
Yeah,
this
I mean,
one
I
should
wouldn't
be at
just
least
say
like 7.
I wouldn't say just awful on paper. The preseason games that I was watching, I was just like watching them and I was just like, this just looks like bad basketball. Like it doesn't look like good basketball. Like at the end of the day, whether you're playing a preseason game or not, I can see what good basketball looks like. Anybody can see what good basketball looks like. Or no, maybe you don't know what good basketball looks like. Everybody might not know that, but you know what bad basketball looks like. And it just looked like bad basketball at times, like stupid little turnovers here or there, like all these other just things that I just think that, an overall team probably, and maybe you're figuring out it's preseason, all that, but it just didn't look good. I just got to assume it's not going to be good to start the season. Yeah, I didn't think Bridget Carlson looked healthy. I don't know what's going on with her, but she looked like she didn't look right. So
on
that's
paper,
your best player.
On paper, this line should be at least like 7.5. Like 4.5 is way too low for a Portland team that's supposed to be one of the worst teams we've ever seen.
And for a Sky team that has literally, we are trying to prove the doubters wrong. Everybody's been talking shit about the Chicago Sky. Everybody, players, media, coaches, everybody's been talking shit about the Chicago Sky. Have some fucking pride. You are brand new players in this city that everybody's been talking shit about. And Skylar Diggins is the leader. I just have to assume they're going to come out there with some level of pride about themselves and say that we about to go push this little new expansion team around. I don't care if the players have been playing in the league before. They not about to stand up with us. Tyler Marsh learned how to freaking do something this season and go nut up and start cashing the over on our win total.
I think they rout them. I think they win this
game. Laying the
points.
Yeah. It's no question. Laying all the points with the Chicago Sky. I'm sorry. The Portland Fire fired their president before anything started. Why do I have any belief that you are going to be a good WNBA team? You started with poison fruit.
Can you make a legitimate argument with Carlton, of course, being compromised potentially, that Chicago is better at every single starting position? Because I would make that argument. I think they're better at every single position on the court.
I don't think Bridget Carlton is like this great player.
No, I think
that's another thing. I don't think she's this great player. She's the best player they had because she's one of the top players that they took from a really good team. But I don't think that she's just this all-world beating player. She is a role player.
But that's kind of the point,
her role on a good team.
She's
not about to come in here and start being some type of 20-point per game scorer trying to carry this team. No, she's not that good.
If I'm reading off the projected lineup right now for Chicago, you have Diggins, you have potentially Cloud. We'll see if she ends up starting or not. You have Reichel, Stevens, and you have Cardoso. I think they're better at every single position in the starting lineup, and they're only laying 4.5. This line is insane to me. I understand Portland, first franchise game ever, home game environment, great. Your team's not good. Chicago has more talent at every position. If it was 4.5 for maybe even the Storm, I'd be like, sure, because this team's not good either. Chicago's projected to win double-digit more wins per game, or more wins this season than the Fire. I don't think it's close. So I think the Sky rout them in this game.
All right.
I got nothing else to add. I think they named the score.
I don't want to think of the total because I don't know what the Sky are going to be defensively. I just think that they'll be able to score. Give me a Sky team total over.
Yeah, I'm with you. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Wait. Player props. Is there
anything
that actually?
Cardoso rebounds.
Yeah. What is that at? It's at 9.5 plus 110.
I'll take the double. Probably a better price.
Double is plus 140.
Sure. Sign me up.
Scholar assist.
Okay.
5.5 is I see minus 154, but like 7 is right here for plus 116. I would just do that. Pretty sure she's just like, also she doesn't. Yes, they've had training camp, they've gotten to know each other, and plus she's played with some of these people before and all that. She don't know this team. Skylar keeping that ball in her hand. All right. Points and assists, by the way, for Skylar. Again, she's keeping the ball in her hand. She don't know them like that. And also, I think Rakia is a most improved candidate. So, but I don't see Rakia's stuff, so I can't. Oh wait, no, yes I do. 16.5 over. She's gonna start. She's gonna start off with 20. Might have to say that for like a dog play. Rakia 20. Might remember that in 2 seconds. All right, that's enough of that, Scott.
Yep.
All right, I'll go.
All right.
Lock dog. Should we just do one? Should we do 2 locks? 7 games. Is 1 lock cheating to people? Should we do 2?
No, because we're doing 1 lock each, and we have Underdog. We also mentioned plays from every game, so it's not like we just skipped over everything else.
1 lock.
You want to do 2? We can do 2.
I'm trying to figure out just 1. Yeah, because I have multiple. Like, I have a lot. All right, maybe I'll do a parlay. Lock. Gosh, okay. I will go the Sky, or okay, maybe there's a curse around Chicago. I'll go Valkyries laying 5.5. Yeah, I think Seattle's going to be bad. Valkyries defense should carry enough to a 2-possession win. Dog will be wow. Oh wow. Really? Wasn't interested in a lot of y'all's dogs. All right, cop out answer. I will take Angel Reese for 14 rebounds at plus 149.
You can do a combo if you want instead. You can take her for like 12 parlayed with the dream spread if you wanted to do some combo there.
I mean, I could, but I'll just do the 14 rebounds.
All right.
It's fine.
All right. I'll do my you want to do your parlay first, or should I do mine?
No. Go ahead. Do your thing.
For my lock, Sky, simply put, line's too short. I think they bury this team. This could be a potential like spread ladder. Like they might win this game by 15 if they're fully engaged, which I think they will be, because you said they have a lot of veterans who have a chip on their shoulder. I think they dominate. Give me the Sky minus 4.5. Minus 110 is my lock. For my dog, going back to the alt line once again, give me Caitlin Clark over 10.5 assists plus 201. I think that this is going to be a high-scoring game full of points from especially Indiana. It might push 90. Once again, she's averaging about 13 assists per game in her career against the Wings. Give me Clark over 10.5 assists at plus 201 as my dog.
All right.
And now you get a parlay chance.
Dream laying 3.5. Chicago laying 4.5. Was putting lock in the parlay a bad shit? I don't have to put my lock in. I don't have to put my lock in the parlay. I got plenty of plays that I like. I don't have to put my lock in the parlay.
I feel like the Mystics are close to you.
I do like the Mystics. I really do. However, I'm either looking at the under in the Liberty or Sun or the over in Indiana and Dallas, but also the over in Phoenix and Aces is calling to me too. I know I want one of those totals as my last play.
Okay, so what if I pitched you something a little bit different but similar? What if I pitched you Clark 8.5 assists minus 130?
No, I like that. No, I like that. But everybody doesn't have player props, so I'm trying to stay out there.
Okay, that's fine.
Give the size and totals. Maybe I should just go. Let's go Liberty and Sun. And wait, what if the Liberty really beat the crap out of the Sun? No, but there's a lot of injuries going on. Okay, we'll go Liberty and Sun. And I'm just gonna hope the Liberty don't pour it on them. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be a lot of points scored, and that gives us action on Friday as well. But if that play does not hit for some reason, I will 100% be reloading this parlay and tossing it over in the Aces and the Venus Mercury game. All right. Dreamland 3.5, Skylang 4.5, Sun Liberty under 159.5, plus 561.
Cool.
All right. Underdog. Well, let's see what Underdog has available.
Okay, well, it is listed, so can we start with Caitlin 8 in emphasis?
Let's see. WNBA. Saturday, because it's a Saturday game. That might. Oh, no, here we go. Okay. Clark, 8.5 higher. 0.88. So, just let you know.
Fine.
But wait, Clark, 8.5 higher. Okay, cool. We can also play. What else do we want to play?
Asia 24.5.
I mean, I was like, Asia's a play like the Reese rebound. Well, I can always run the Reese rebounds back.
Including Asia is really never a bad idea in your underdog entry. It's just not a bad idea.
Never at all. All right. Asia Wilson hired 24.5. And then do we have any action on Friday? Do we want action on Friday?
Yeah, sure.
We should get some action on Friday.
Yeah.
Kiki? Rebound?
That works. Unless you want to do points, because who's going to stop?
Because 0.84 on the rebounds. Maybe we could. All right, wait. Let's see what else we have. Because it's also 8.5 for rebounds. We can also do. I'm sorry. I'm just have to go through everything again. And Grinder's at 12.5 points. I think that's absurd.
Okay. I mean, somebody's going to have to shoot the ball on this team.
It's literally going to only be her.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Solid stat line and still lose.
Brittany Griner, higher 12.5 points. That's really low. I think that's really low.
She's past her prime, but she's not washed. I mean, that's an insanely disrespectful.
I mean, she's literally playing this season to prove she's not washed.
Correct. Yeah.
And she hasn't looked washed all preseason. Okay, Brittany Griner, higher 12.5 points. Caitlin Clark, higher 8.5 assists. And Asia Wilson, higher 24.5 points. That's going to be 6x. $100, get you $600 over there at Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN. Scott, anything else for people before we get up out of here?
Not really. 80-minute episode to start the season. So looking forward to it for the rest of the season. 7 games. So once again, going to be a fun weekend. Extra basketball besides the NBA playoffs. So check out the WNBA podcast. Like, subscribe. You know where to find us. So looking forward to a full season. Should be fun.
And that's the WNBA tip-off. He's at Reichel Radio. I am at reallyreal__. Make sure you give us a follow at SGPN NBA, youtube.com/NBA Gambling Podcast, and give us a 5-star rating and review wherever you listen to the WNBA Gambling Podcast. Apple, Spotify, doesn't matter. With that, we'll see you again next time. With that, nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the show. Just going to end it like this. We are out of here.